As we get into December and it is basically too late to be creating new holiday themed designs for the fourth quarter, it's time to turn your attention to designs for the new year. And I'm not actually talking about New Year's themed designs. I'm talking about the year itself, because that can lead to a lot of different designs as well as repeatable designs that you can actually crank out pretty quickly. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some ideas for creating year-themed designs that you can get added to your print-on-demand store. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about a few ideas for creating year-themed designs, which you can create multiple of. Now, my first idea for you is actually to look backwards at what you've done before. So if this is not the first time that you have made year-themed designs like this, then take a look at your existing files. If you haven't done that already, go back and look at what you created before. If they have sold for you, if they did sell within the last year, then simply change the year on them. So this one, for example, for me, I could come in here and just adjust the 2023 to a 2024 and export this file. And I've actually got several of these for wife, brother, uncle, and sister. So I could go out and just crank out a whole new set of these with 2024 and get them published before the end of the year. So that would be my first tip for you if you've done this before. Now, of course, if you've done this before and none of the designs sold at all, then you have two options. You could still take a look at them and see if there's any improvements you might want to make. Maybe there's a different main graphic you want to put in here, or maybe just, replace this entire graphic, but still do this theme for next year. All right, so that's tip number one for these repeatable year-based designs. But assuming you haven't done this before, if this is going to be the first time you create a bunch of designs that are themed on the year, I do have a couple other things for you to take a look at first. So just in general, I'd like to point out when some of these year-based designs start to sell. So I just ran Google Trends on the phrase retired in 2023. So this is not specific to a product. This isn't specific to a shirt or a mug or anything like that. But just in terms of how often people searched for this phrase, retired in 2023, if you look at when it started to become more of a popular search phrase, some of these earlier peaks here were not in 2023. They were actually towards the end of 2022. If I can get one to stay here, there we go. So there is an increase in search frequency happening at the end of September, beginning of October in 2022. It actually started really to pick up here in December of 2022 and the first week of January of 2023. And then it maintained relatively around the same amount of popularity in terms of relative to the last 5 years throughout the year of 2023. So the moral of the story here is they don't only sell in that year, they will start to sell towards the end of the year, these year-themed designs. And the first one we're going to take a look at for an idea is exactly what I put in here, retired in the year, which is going to be 2024. Now, another way we can find out some ideas for design themes to use is what sold well this year. So when people were shopping for a retired in 2023 shirt, what actually sold well in the current year? So all we have to do for that is come over to Etsy and search for retired in 2023 shirt. And there's a couple ways that we can go about this. Some are going to be quicker and easier than others. All right, so the first way to get an idea of what was selling in 2023 that's free and easy is just to take a look at what's on page 1 of the search results here. Now, of course, you want to avoid looking at the ads. So look for where it says ad by Etsy seller. We can ignore those because the sellers are getting placement on this page based on paying for an ad. So we don't care about those in terms of placement on the page. But when we get to the organic search results here in the next row, these are listings that are selling now or have sold well in 2023. They don't get to the top of page 1 organic listings and stay there by not selling. So basically what we're looking for is design trends, themes of designs and styles of designs that we could go make a 2024 theme design. Of course, we're not looking to copy a direct design. So we don't want to just go create something that somebody else has already done exactly the same way. Inevitably, some of these will start to look similar, and that's okay. But the point is, make your design based on a trend or a theme. Like for example, the tropical sunset theme is a popular one for a lot of niches. We can certainly make one of those. And yes, it's going to look a little bit similar, but we don't just want to copy some exact design from another seller. But as we scroll through here, you'll see what some of these popular designs are. A lot of them are looking like they were text only without a lot of graphics. Some of them do have graphics here, but I'm seeing several island themed ones. Well, there's a fishing themed one, so that could be a good sub niche opportunity possibly. But that's really the first method, is just take advantage of looking up on Etsy what was selling for the 2023 designs and get an idea of maybe a theme and then go make your 2024 designs. Another way would be to use an Etsy fancy research tool like Everbee. I've got the Chrome extension installed here. So if we run our search like I did, we run it for retired in 2023 shirt, then we pop open our Everbee extension and we click on product analytics, it is going to analyze all of the listings on the page and give us an average monthly sales here. So we have average monthly and then we have total sales. If I go to the total sales column and click on the arrow to sort it to the top, wouldn't you know that one that we looked at earlier with the island themed tropical sunset has the highest sales here, average monthly sales somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 times. So this can be an even quicker way to get an idea of what were the top selling types of designs for this niche. So I think I'd like to create a retired in 2024 design that is a retro sunset. Now I'm going to use Kittl to do this really quickly, and then we'll take a look at a couple other ideas for the year. We're not going to spend too much time on the actual designs for this video. I wanted to focus more on the idea itself. But if I just come over to Kittl and search for sunset in the templates, I'm going to get all of their templates that have something to do with a sunset. Now here's an example of how fast and easy Kittl can make it. One of the reasons why I really like using Kittl for my designs is I can click on this template here of Tropical Sunset Beach Resort, and then we'll say use this design, and all I'm going to need to do really is change the text here and possibly throw in one or two different elements if I want to change anything up a little bit here. But first, I'm just going to resize this to a good size for a t-shirt because right now it is pretty small. All right, there we go. So all I'm going to do here is we'll turn off the background. We'll start editing our text. I'm going to put 2024 up top. Now there are lots of ways you can go as far as text, and this is even another way that you can crank out multiple designs. We can do one that just says retired 2024 with this graphic, and that's it. I can do another one with this not my problem, kind of a little bit of funny text here towards the bottom. I can do different phrases here and have different versions of it that way as well. Now I could also put a curve on the text on the bottom if I wanted to, if I like the way that looks a little bit better. And then I could even put a curve on the text on the top too. So as you can see, you can get pretty crazy here. I went a little bit too far with transforming the text, but the point is just kind of customize it a little bit, make it your own instead of just, using the exact template the way it was. But it's a fantastic starting point because all of these cool island elements, they're already built in here. We don't have to do any of that ourselves. It's just a matter of making the text fit with the rest of the design. You can see how you can get a bunch of different designs for this niche pretty quickly by using the templates that are on Kittl. All right, so that's the retired design based on the year. Let's check out another one. Another potential opportunity would be the class of 2024. And so this one could be t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, just like the retired niche, really. It can be on multiple different products and you can do different styles of designs. So we're going to start by doing the same thing. I search for class of 2023, and then we're going to pop open Everbee and see what were the best sellers for that niche. So we've got several here that have a few hundred sales, which is important to point out, by the way. Anything with over 12 sales means it sold more than once per month throughout the year on average. So all of these top listings that have hundreds of sales, they sold several times per month. Now, granted, class of 2023 probably sold a decent amount around May and June of 2023. So there's going to be a spike, but you can still depend on getting some sales per month if you get, a page one ranking design in this niche. And the competition for this one was a little bit higher, by the way. I think it was about 15 or 16,000 search results, but we are at the end of the year. And so we want to get ahead of that by doing 2024. So let's just take a look at what some of the top sellers were here. We're going to have to hover over these to see what some of them were because the thumbnails are a little small. Okay, so some of them are a little bit hard to see here, but I'm seeing mostly text-based designs and mostly that school sort of college font style text designs. There are a couple here. Oh, Senior Things. Wow, blatant ripoff of Stranger Things there. We have, okay, the cap and the diploma there with 2023. So not even text on that one, just the numbers. That's an interesting take on it. And that one sold a couple hundred times in 2023. I Did It 2023. There's potentially a good sub-niche opportunity for this one. All right, so we're back on Kittl. I just searched for the word graduate to see what would come up here because really all I'm looking for is the imaging. Now, some of these look like stationery, but this first one might be an opportunity to make a quick design here. So all I did was change the year here, and actually this, I'm gonna stop because this could be a design in itself. 2024 Mom of a Graduate. That's a whole separate niche that we weren't even looking at, that this template just accidentally gave me an idea for. So this could be another one, 2024 Mom of a Graduate, Dad of a Graduate. That could be a whole other design that we just save this separately and take a look at what the competition and what the search volume looks like. But I personally would probably just go ahead and make this one. All right, so here's just another quick version of the Graduate one, 2024. Thank God I made it. So another kind of a more funny version of this one. So as you can see, you can just do a whole bunch, just change the wording around a little bit each time, crank out several different designs. It's fine if they have the same elements in them. You can also change, some of the main elements each time you do it. You can add another one. I could maybe look for a diploma to throw on here, but you get the point there. So that's the Graduated in 2024 option. And then the last one we'll talk about is the general family one, which we kind of started with a little bit at the beginning of the video with the one we looked at from last year that I was just updating for this year, but it never hurts to do a little research to see which ones were actually selling this year. So I just searched for Dad Est 2023. So Dad Established 2023. There's 4,100 search results on Etsy right now. As you can see from some of the results here on page one, super simple designs seem to be the top sellers on page one, but let's take a look and analyze that. So if we sort for total sales here, we've got a dad joke theme shirt that showed up in the search results, even though it doesn't match my search phrase as the top actually, and it's a dad joke themed one. We have one here that looks like actually it's a hat as the top seller. And now I did not search for Dad S 2023 shirt, 8,900, over almost 9,000 sales in 2023 from this hat with a patch on it, which by the way, hats with a sort of a faux leather, I think it's vegan leather patch are available on Printify. That seemed like a pretty good seller in 2023. Now, if we take a look at some of the shirts that sold well, you can see, as we saw in the search results, some of these top sellers, very simple designs. So kind of that college themed text or very basic thin font style text. So that gives me two ideas. Number one, we could just try and come up with a different text-based design for this, but we could also try and go for something that's got a little bit more of a graphic to it. And so maybe it could stand out from the competition a little bit better. But one of the things that I think it's important to point out is we don't necessarily want only just a real dad themed graphic. It's always helpful if you can get a design that is multi-purpose. So for example, here is one that says Gamer Dad, like a normal dad, only much cooler. I could use this design and change it to Gamer Dad Established 2024, and then I could very easily change that to Gamer Mom Established 2024. So I could very quickly churn out a whole bunch based on this design if I change that. Now, I'll just use a different one here. This one, I like the style of text because this is very basic, just like the ones that we're selling, but it's still different. It's not exactly the same. So I'm going to tweak this one just a little bit here because this is like a business record label style logo almost. Okay, so here's an example of what I did to make this funny and themed for the best dad ever. And we can very quickly change this to best mom ever. So this is best dad ever in parentheses since 2024. So it's almost like a little bit of a funny, joke, but at the same time, it's just the text-based design that, looked like it was selling pretty well on page one. So we could very easily save this as our best dad ever, and then change it to best mom ever, and then, best brother, sister, grandma, grandpa. We could do a bunch of different ones here and have our since 2024 on there. So this is just one example. You could do it a lot of different ways. All right, so that'll do it for this video. That was 3 different ideas for types of niches you can use the year and get those cranked out before the end of the year so that you're starting off 2024 strong with a whole sort of catalog of different niches covered with your 2024 themed designs. And then these will give you things that you can just go and repurpose for 2025, 2026, and so on. So if you really like a design like this one, I like this one. I think this is a good design. I might want to create my since 2025 at the same time and save it, which is fine. I'll save it in my folder. I could even, create the draft of the listing on Etsy, but not actually publish it until a year from now at the end of 2024. And that way it gets published and it starts to get views and hopefully make some sales at a time when it's a little bit more likely to sell. So there's nothing wrong with doing some of this work in advance. I just don't recommend, for Etsy at least, publishing it super far in advance. All right, so that was your bonus tip there. That'll do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know down in the comments if it was, and don't forget to subscribe to the POD Insights channel if you haven't. Thank you so much to all subscribers. I really do appreciate your support.